Morning, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to Westies Angling. Today you're joining me at Crook Fishery for another fishery review, and today we're going to be fishing on Maggie's Pond. There's 3 lakes here at Crook. It's £7 for a day ticket and £10 for 2 rods. Okay, so this is the pay station. Maggie's Pond is separate to the other 2 lakes, which are on the other side of the road. Really good facilities here. So car parks just here as you pull in. But there is a drop-off point just because there is a bit of a walk to the lake. Crook Hall's not a massive fishery, it's only small, but it's in an absolutely lovely setting. I'm going to show you the lake in a second. Just walking down the drop-off point track now. I've already dropped all my gear off, and so's my dad. He's just taking a look at the lake. We're not 100% sure which pegs to fish. This is the first time we fished here, but like I said, it's been very highly recommended. So you've got your net, dip and rinse, toilet, and this is your little turning circle drop-off point. And then you've got to take your car back up to the car park. And there's the fishery. Only small, one central island on Maggie's Lake, and I think these are the 2 pegs that we're going to fish today. Can't see it getting busy, but it is a popular fishery. It's a donut shaped lake, but it's got these marginal inlays, just makes it a little bit more interesting. I think I'm going to fish float today and potentially feeder up to the island as well. So I'll be swapping between the 2 and we'll see what we can pick up. I might start off on the feeder and then swap to float if we're really struggling. Looks a little bit wider at this side than it is on the entry side. Very cold this morning. It's only a few degrees. Right, I'm going to get set up and we'll get fishing. It's a brave robin. So we're still discussing where to fish. I'm saying potentially along this edge, and my dad agrees with me because the sun's coming up just over there, and probably that side's going to warm up first, and there seems like to be most fish activity along this side of the lake. Seems pretty quiet on this side. I don't know, there's the fish just topped in the margins there, so there's plenty of movement, which is a good sign. But yeah, I think I'm going to fish feeder over to the island. We'll get some Aquastim mixed up and probably 6mm pink wafter. I don't know what's in here, whether there's bigger fish or what, but we'll find out before the end of today, I'm sure. Hopefully it's not a blank. This is the peg that I'm going to fish. Lovely little fishery. Yeah, plenty of topping in this swim. Let's go and dip our net. Ooh, looks so good. Right, let's mix up some Aquastim so it'll be ready when we start fishing. I'm going to be very lazy today and mix the pellets and ground bait together. Let's go 70-30 mix. An attractant in there as well, I think. Let's go with the chocolate orange, because I might try a couple of chocolate orange wafters today as well. Put a good amount of that in, and then we'll mix it. And by the time I've got my rods set up and my feeder chair, that will be perfect. And we'll stick it through the riddle. Let's get one of the Shimano Speedmasters out. Okay, so I didn't tie up any handmade method feeder rigs like I normally do. I've just got some pre-made bought ones, and the only ones I've got left are these size 16s to £7 line with a bait screw, but they should be alright for today. I've just put one on the method feeder. So we're carrying on with these £1.50 cheap banjo feeders that I've got off eBay. I'll put a link to them in the description for you if you wanted to save yourself a few quid. They're alright. And we're going to go with 6mm wafter, because I imagine that the fish in here aren't massive. I'm sure that there'll be a couple of big ones in, but I think the vast majority of them will be smallish. I must admit, I do prefer banding the wafters to bait screws. I think you get a better presentation, but that's on. Little 6mm wafter, very light setup, and just fishing for anything that swims today. Plenty of topping and fish activity. My dad's fishing float. He's got some maggots. So I want to be probably that way around. I'm going to fish into that little divot. I don't know if you can see it on the GoPro. There's a little divot on that far bank where there's a little bit of an outcrop of reeds. I'm going to try and get a feeder into that, and then what I'll do is I'll work my way closer towards the middle. It's not far, it's probably only about 20 foot to that far bank, so it'll just be a little underarm. If I'm struggling on the feeder, that's when I'll swap over to float. But I think we'll do alright today, to be honest. The fishing seems to be picking up places over the last week or so. My feeder arm on and my rod rests. Should be back right there. I'll have a good angle to the feeder and we'll use that as a bit of a table. Yeah, looks good there. My short landing net handle. Sure, I'd have heard a woodpecker drumming then. Did you hear that on the camera? Right. So there's a woodpecker drumming somewhere over there. You hear that? Really loud. The sun's just coming up now. And people wonder why I come fishing. Look at that. Absolutely stunning. Look at that setting. Definitely giving off spring vibes at the minute. Hopefully puts an end to that cold weather. Just going to put this ground bait through the riddle and we're good to fish there. So it squeezes together perfectly and then breaks up into a fine crumb. So what I'm going to do is, just because I'm not fishing that far away, I'm just going to take a good handful of pellets and I'm just going to underarm it to start the swim off. So I need to get it near enough at that far bank. Awesome, perfect. That'll just start the swim off. Get rid of that riddle for a minute. Check my rod, everything looks okay. Drag's fine. Want my drag set nicely, just because we're not fishing heavy, especially on the hook length. And hopefully these little pre-tied rigs serve us well today. Seems sharp enough. Let's see where we're at from a rod rest point of view. This needs to come up a bit. Method mould. That's what I love about my little setup. It's really quick and easy to get fishing, and at the end of the day it's very easy to get packed up quick as well. Spend as much time fishing as possible with a little bit of procrastinating filming as well. Could do with a touch more water, that ground bait, I think, but we can always add some in. Don't want it breaking up on the cast, which I think it will at the minute. It's just a little bit dry. Them pellets really absorb a lot of that water, so absolutely great cast that. That's where we want it. That branch is going to do my head in, I think, at some point today. You want a nice aggressive bend in your tip to your feeder. Just helps with the hooking action. You'll definitely hook more fish having a bit more of an aggressive bend, and you'll still see the bite. This is a really soft rod, so it's got a nice action. I'm sure that we'll get a bite on the camera today. Woodpecker's still going for it in the background. So just while we're waiting on that rod tip going round, I'm just going to put a little bit more water in here. So I've probably gone the opposite way there. It's probably a little bit wet now, but it'll soon dry out. Westy's angling towel. Might have a few more of these made up, actually, they're good. And that's the setup. Can fish this with double feeders. As you know, if you're following the channel, I like to do that often, but not on a small fishery like this. One's enough. You can't really get the separation that you need on the feeders. I probably could, but I'd be struggling. Loads of fish stopping around this side of the lake. If I don't catch today, I'm doing something wrong. There we go. Straight in. You see that? Yeah, we've got a fish on there. Very quick bite. Little skimmer. So that rod was only in a couple of minutes. Good sign for today, that. That size 16's done us proud. When fishing in a place like this, size 16 is going to be perfect at this time of year. It's going to hook anything in there. Little tiny wafter. Lovely little fish. 1-0, Dad. Just had a skimmer. Yeah. First chuck, yeah, only in a couple of minutes. That's a perfect little setup we've got going here. See if we can get another. Yeah, I've mixed it a little bit wet now, that ground baits. It'll soon dry out. It'll just take the fish a little bit longer to get it off the feeder. We'll squeeze a tiny little bit more on because they're obviously on the feed today. We'll feed up some of these small skimmers and hopefully get something bigger in the swim. As long as I'm there or thereabouts in the swim there, we should be good. So I was struggling to tighten up to the feeder then, which means there's probably a little bit of an embankment there on that right hand side of the island that the feeder was just slipping down. So if you see, so if you're struggling to tighten up to a feeder, it's usually because of that. So your next cast, you just need to come a little bit this way because you want to be at the bottom of those embankments because the fish will hold to that little bit of a drop off. Usually. Now, even though the feeder's slipped, I'm still confident because it's quite wet that there would still be quite a bit of feed on that feeder, so I'm not going to recast in. Look at this cheeky little robin here. Getting me Aquastim. If the birds like it, then the fish are going to like it as well, aren't they? Now, do you think we can get a coffee before we get a bite? Because I don't. Just coming up to 7:15. Really early start for me this morning, coming from Manchester all the way over here to Wigan area, Parbold. It's actually an LS postcode, this fishery. I'll put the address for the fishery in the description for you in case you wanted to come and have a go. But 3 or 4 separate people have recommended this place to me as a winter venue. I think because of the abundance of fish in here, and it's quite sheltered as well. Plenty of small skimmers. I believe tench have been coming out, but you've got trees surrounding the whole place, so it'll just keep the wind off you, just keep it that couple of degrees warmer. Still got my winter suit on. It's definitely not warm enough yet to start taking that kind of stuff off. Seem to feel the cold really easily these days. Now there's a chance that my dad will get more species than me today because he is fishing float. There's a few species that obviously won't go down for a method feeder, so we'll probably be picking up bream, tench, maybe the odd roach, and potentially, if we're lucky, a carp. Bit of a twitch on the rod tip then. That was a definite bream bite. So my dad's just flicking maggots and pellets out over the top of his float. Where are you fishing to, Dad? About midway? How deep is it? So it's about 4 foot deep. Look at him there, living the dream with his Westies angling hat on. Lucky Westies angling beanie. Oh, a little bit of a twitch then. So for those of you that are following the channel, you'll know that I do plenty of giveaways, and I will be doing a giveaway in this episode, so make sure you watch the video through to the end. I'll be giving away a Westies angling beanie again in either black or green. Whoever wins can choose what colour they want, and I'll tell you what you need to do to be in with a chance of winning one. Must be plenty of small bream in the swim because I'm just getting little plucks on the feeder. So what I could do a little bit later on, if we're still getting finicky little bites on the feeder, I could tie up a short method feeder hook length with a size 14 and just put a few maggots on it. I'll just have to recast more often. So there must be plenty of small skimmers in. Oh, we got a fish on there, or was it just big? It was a big liner. Yeah, no, we've got a fish on. They're not even pulling that 30 gram feed around. This net's good. These hooks are nailing these little bream. But I bet there's a lot in there that size. Can you see how, because I've mixed my ground bait too wet, it's all stuck in the feeder? So let's get that out. It's dried up a bit now, so hopefully it won't do that on this next cast. Must be weedy there. Dad's just had another skimmer, Dad. Must be absolutely jam-packed with him, little bream. So just making sure that my little hook rub is in the right position. So my dad's casting beyond his swim and then reeling his float back into position, just so he doesn't disturb it, and then underarming out maggots. I don't know if you can see that on the GoPro. So that last bite, that last little bream bite, was a drop back, which you do sometimes get with bream. I have brought my own hooking mat just in case we get a decent lump of a fish at some point today. Fingers crossed. I think there's some nice chub in here, but I've never had a chub on a pink wafter on the method feeder, because they feed a little bit higher up in the water, you see, not usually on the bottom. You'd much likely catch them how my dad's fishing, on maggots. That sun's just cutting through them trees over there. I think it's going to be giving us a lot of camera glare. Dad's in again. Gonna roll with it. Well, I thought it was fighting a little bit harder. So 3 skimmers and a roach, my dad said. Nice one as well, yeah. Very, very nice day today. Blue skies. Absolutely zero cloud cover at the minute, which can be bad for fishing, to be quite honest. Just a massive carp top over the back there. Not sure what the other 2 lakes are like at Crook Hole. Like I said, it's the first time I've been. My dad had a walk around it the other day. One of the fellas said that he had 10-15 carp out of one of the other lakes a couple of weeks ago. Like, anyway, you've just got to catch it on the right day, haven't you? I think they've got more of a silvers lake, which has got silvers and crucians in, and then a couple of mixed course fisheries like this. I think Maggie's Lake's the main lake. There's a lot of debris on the bottom of this lake. Just had a little drop back then, and the hook was absolutely covered in reed. And that was a lot closer in as well that time. Just setting my float rod up now, just in preparation of giving it a go. I'm hoping none of the shot have come off, because I've had this made up in the bag from last time, and float rods aren't the best to leave made up in a carryall, just because they tend to get tangled up and snagged on everything. Method feeders aren't bad to leave made up because there's nothing really to get snagged on anything, but we've been lucky. Let's just check there's no shot come off that. Looks alright. Hook's still sharp. Got a size 14 on this one. Should be about the right depth as well. So with a few maggots on there, it should be about right, that. Yeah. Right, that's ready for when we want it. Right, let's have a break from the feeder rod and go on the float for a bit. I'll just leave this made up to the side. And get some maggots. You got some casters as well?
Yeah, they're nuggets from last week. I've tried casting, but
Oh, right, okay.
I couldn't get a bite on it. Oh, Trev, take it with you.
No, you just told me you can't get a bite on them. Right. So, just need to make a few adjustments here. Need to swing my arm round. Lift it up a touch. Because this is a 13-foot rod, not a 10-foot rod. And then see how that's sitting. It's alright, the stuff will be a little bit more. Sorted, ready to fish. So I'm just going to feed a handful of ground bait just out. I'm going to keep on this line just for when we swap back onto the feeder. We'll keep the fish in the same sort of area. And I'm going to go 3 maggots. And hopefully that'll get us one of the better bream. That float's very difficult to see in this swim because I've got that sungle there from my right hand side and I've got it shotted right down as well. Oh, that was a bite. Let's try and get it in line with that tree so I can at least see it. Yeah, that's better. Where the reflection is from that tree, it's a little bit easier to see. I'll just put a small handful of ground bait in every time I cast out. You can see all the oils and attractants leaking off from the ground bait, bubbling on the surface. Hey. Fish on. Try not to knock my camera in. Similar sort of stamp to what I was getting on the feeder. It should be a better view now that we're fishing float. Right, let's get some maggots loaded back on. So that was 3 maggots. I've put them a little bit more up the shank of the hook this time, just so more of that hook point's exposed. With that tree so I can see the float. A tiny handful of ground bait. Fish messing with that already. A little bit of a bite. Go on, take it. Take it. It's a slightly better fish, I think. These bream are absolutely nailing them maggots. It looks like he's into a better fish. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. It is a better one, that, isn't it? He's only fishing a very light setup. Got a 4 pound hook length on. That's a nice bream, that. Right. I think that worked a little bit better that time, just having a little bit more of the hook point showing. I don't think they're going to be put off by it. Just doing a little underarm flick out and then reeling back just so the float's in line with that tree, so I can see it. And then, like I said, tiny handful of ground bait, Aquastim. Oops, that one was way too far. Got a bit giddy with the underarm. To be honest with you, I don't even think I need the ground bait going in. I've got the float shotted down. I must only have a centimetre showing. So there's hardly any resistance there for when a fish takes it. Felt like I'm leaning at a funny angle, it's because I'm trying to see the float. I'm going to follow the reflection of that tree. Had a bit of a bite then. As the float drifts, I'm just trying to line it up in the middle. Definitely getting quicker bites now I've moved up in the water. The reason that obviously fisheries don't like you putting loads of ground bait in is it can pollute the water. It can pollute the water because all the fine stuff won't get eaten by fish, and it just causes the nitrates and nitrites to build up, which is obviously can be toxic for fish if it's not getting eaten and digested. But I mean, it's fine in moderation. And I'm literally just putting tiny amounts in. Probably that much at a time, and most of that's pellets anyway. That is a tiny skimmer. Quick bite though. Oh, missed. Right, let's try some bread. Got a nice size 14 on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hook it through, leave the point showing, and just squeeze it gently around the shank of the hook. Like that. Make sure that point's really free. Just need a big carp now to come through here and suck up that bread and shoot off down the lake with it. Oh, straight away. Oh, see that leap out of the water then? Oh no, it's come off. Oh dear. Leaped out of the water like a mullet. That was a better fish, that last one as well, that jumped out of the water. Probably have another 10-15 casts like this on the bread and then go back onto the feeder. See if anything has moved into that swim over there that we were feeding up with the feeder before. Now the rules here do say no ground bait, but I'm taking it with a little bit of a pinch of salt, and I'm only putting tiny amounts in, only the same amount as that I put in casting out on a method feeder. Obviously there's pellets in that mix as well, so usually what they mean when they say no ground bait is don't be piling tons of ground bait out. Obviously some people make up big balls of ground bait and put them in to start a swim off. That's not what we're doing. We're just loose feeding it. Right, let's get back on the feeder. Owner's just come down on his quad bike. Owner or bailiff, I'm not sure who he was. And he's fine with my fishing method feeder and small amounts of ground bait going in. Just so you know. So if you did want to come here and fish method feeder, it's fine with ground bait going in small quantities. Just doesn't want it all piling up, which is understandable. So just use it in moderation, small amounts at a time. Absolutely loads of bubbles coming up here where I've just cast the feeder. It must be a carp. It's definitely not them bream. In Maggie's, that's where the biggest carp are. Just for everybody's information, and like I said, it's £7 for one rod, £10 for two rods. It's well signposted on the main road, so if you just follow the postcode and follow that road round, you'll see it. So to be in with a chance of winning yourself a Westies Angling beanie this episode, all you need to do is subscribe to the channel, share the video with an angling friend, and drop a comment in the comment section down below. So you can comment anything. You can comment on the methods that we've used today, you can put a thumbs up, you can do anything. As long as you've left a comment, it doesn't matter. Definitely don't be scared to comment. If you've got any questions about the methods that we've used today, I'll always try and get back to the questions in the comment section. And then what I'll do is when the video gets 5,000 views, which should be after a couple of weeks, I'll select somebody at random from the comments. I'll get in touch with you and we'll get you a Westies Angling beanie sent out like my dad's wearing today. Not got mine on today because the sun's quite bright. I'm facing the sun here, so I just needed the sun off my eyes. So I've got the old trusty Daiwa cap on instead. Obviously, still wearing the lucky Westies Angling hoodie though. So yeah, if you're not sure about any of the rules or anything like that, always ask. They're very friendly, a lot of these fishery owners. Very, very nice setting here, good facilities. Obviously they've got toilets, portable ones, but still more than a lot of fisheries have. Clearly looks after his fisheries, everything's well maintained. There's a net dip, so he cares about his fish health. If you want to be in for a chance of catching a big carp, I don't think this is the fishery for you. I think this is somewhere to come fish on the pole or on the float and just catch skimmers and silverfish all day, with the potential of maybe catching a carp at some point through the session. So my dad's still catching loads of skimmers on the float, but I'm holding out for something a little bit bigger. Apparently there's plenty of tench in here, golden tench. So forget about what I just said. My dad just had another chat with the owner and they go to £18 in here, the carp. So some cracking fish. You'll find that most coarse fisheries, mixed coarse fisheries, the carp will go to about 18. They tend to level out at about that size. To get anything bigger than that, they need to specially stock them or have small numbers of fish in the lake, with an abundance of natural food as well, or a lot of food going in like carp anglers, boilies and stuff like that, just so they can build up all that weight through the nutrients that they're getting from the boilies and whatnot. Whereas in these mixed coarse fisheries, the silvers will eat a lot of the bait that's going in and the carp can't really stack on as much weight. Speaking of weight, I'm absolutely starving. Started a diet yesterday, lose some of this winter chub that I've got. So we're fish again. Another bream. Over to the island. On the 8mm pink wafter. This little wren at my feet keeps coming over to the ground bait bucket and pinching the maggots. Yeah. Oh, unfortunately, I fella hooked it. At least we know what's causing all that stream of bubbles. So it's tiny little skimmers like that I've been getting. Must be absolutely hundreds of them. But folks, if you want a good day out on the pole and a pretty much guaranteed catch, here's your place. Dad's got an hide, another species. Yeah, it's an hide. So you can tell the difference between an hide and a roach because it's got black eyes. Nice fish, that one. Looks like a hybrid. Have you seen this? It's got like a bit of a skimmer tail. Unless it's a hybrid roach skimmer. Oh, Dad's had a better fish. It's a tench. It's like a nice tench too. Someone has just been persistent on the float, just plugging away all day, and he's just got a tench. He just goes to show you that something decent can turn up at any time. You've just got to keep at it on the float. I'll show you this tench. Look at that. Lovely tench. Yeah, I seem to be getting more bites further out, yet nothing on the feeder. So my dad's fishing closer to the island. That's where I've had my method feeder all day, and I've not picked up a tench. And tench definitely love them pink wafters, so not sure what's going on there. Whether it's worth swapping back onto the method feeder or not, I'm not sure. Well, for the first time ever, I can't seem to buy a bite on the pink wafters, so I've just swapped back over to the float and gone back on the bread. Want to try some bread flake, Dad? 20p, reduced Warburtons this, Dad. Only the best. Rudd, tench, roach, eyed, bream. It's not a bad mixed bag, is it? Just swap back onto the method feeder over to the island. Well, at least we've caught a few for you today, and I hope it's given you a good idea of the fishing here at Crook Hole. I think we'd definitely come again, probably in summer. And there's certainly some nice fish to try for in here. Do you think you'd fish at Crook Hole again, Dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice fishery. I think the next time I'd like to go and try
One of the other lakes.
one of them others.
The carp lake, not the silvers one.
But, well, not in summer. I'd like to fish that silver one for crucians.
Oh yeah, that'd be good. There's not many places really that
Crucian oriented.
crucian orientated around here.
But you were telling me you'd been told that crucians don't do well if there's carping.
Ah, right.
So
Well, they get out competed, I guess.
that's why he's kept it pretty much carp free.
Well, my dad would fish here again. I would, I think. So there's plenty of other fisheries for us to try coming into spring and going through summer. I've got a big long list that I'm working through, but it is a lovely place here, set right in the middle of a farm, hence the horses. Look at this chap here in his dressing gown. Lovely. Oh, don't like that. Bit shy. Don't mess around with the animals. I think we scared each other. You look friendly though. No? Yes? No? Got ground bait hands. So I'm going to have a few more casts before the end of the day, so if I catch anything I'll let you know, but I just want to say thanks for watching and we'll see you in the next Westies Angling. So if you like the content that you've seen today, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification down the left hand side so that you don't miss another video. And also make sure that you've commented to be in with a chance of winning a Westies Angling beanie, like the one my dad is fashionably modelling on his head there. And I've got them in black or red, so you can have a choice, but we'll pick one lucky winner when the video gets to 5,000 views, which usually takes 2 or 3 weeks. I'll pick somebody at random, or I'll get my dad to pick somebody out of the comments. So yeah, all you need to do, comment down below, subscribe to the channel and share the video with an angling friend, and you'll be in with a chance of winning. Let's see if we can catch anything else. What?
Black or green, black or red.
Did I say red?
Yes.
No, I didn't. Did I say red?
Yeah.
Oh dear, can't talk. Well, I mean, I could have some red ones made, but I don't think it'd be very fishing coloured, would they?
No.
Black or green? Don't know what I was thinking about. Bloody hell, he's got another tench. Certainly speeded. Oh no! Oh, he's lost it. What a shame. Not like I'm getting jealous that he's catching nice fish or anything. Always seems to do better than me. So we've just packed up and just come for a little bit of a nosy at these other lakes for you. So apparently this is a silverfish and crucian lake. Fella on the other lake there who's fishing on the silvers lakes had a 6-pound carp, so must be carp in all of them. Maybe not as many in the other one though. But it's a nice lake, nice overhanging willow tree there. Bit of a walk down to these lakes though, so not much disabled access here. They're only small, these 2 lakes, they're not massive.
5 pegs on this.
The fella who's just had a carp on that left hand lake there, he's had some chub on this lake today.
And half a dozen carp.
And half a dozen carp, which is more than what we've had. But like I say, bit of a walk, probably about 1,000 metre walk from the car park down to here.